Joaquin Guzman Loera. The name struck fear into many. Known as El Chapo, he was a giant in the criminal underworld, head of the Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most powerful drug trafficking organizations. Infamous for his ruthlessness and ability to evade capture, his life was a whirlwind of violence, corruption, and daring escapes. El Chapo's story began in the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico. Born into poverty, the drug trade offered a way out. He rose through the ranks, quickly becoming a key player. His rise was marked by violence and bloodshed. Amassing a fortune, he became one of the most wanted men. Governments sought to bring him down. His cartel smuggled tons of drugs into the United States. The violence claimed thousands of lives. El Chapo seemed untouchable, always ahead of the law. In 1993, the impossible happened. El Chapo was captured in Guatemala after a massive manhunt, extradited to Mexico, sentenced to 20 years in prison. It seemed like the end of the road, but everyone underestimated his audacity and influence. Prison walls could not hold El Chapo. His escape in 2001 was a testament to his power and the corruption that plagued the Mexican justice system. From within the walls of Puente Grande prison, El Chapo orchestrated an elaborate plan. He used his wealth to bribe prison guards and officials, turning his prison cell into his personal command center. The day of the escape arrived. Tension was high as El Chapo's plan swung into action. A laundry cart was wheeled into his cell, seemingly innocuous amongst the day-to-day activities of prison life. Unbeknownst to the guards, El Chapo was hidden inside. He was wheeled out, right under the noses of those tasked with guarding him. The audacity of the escape shocked the world. El Chapo, the world's most notorious drug lord, had escaped from a maximum security prison. It was a humiliating blow to the Mexican government and a testament to the reach of his cartel's influence. El Chapo was free and he was back in business. His escape made international headlines, putting pressure on the Mexican and US governments to recapture him. A massive manhunt ensued, with authorities in several countries joining forces to locate the fugitive drug lord. But El Chapo was a phantom, disappearing into the rugged mountains of Sinaloa, his power and influence seemingly growing in his absence. For over a decade, El Chapo remained a fugitive, a symbol of the challenges in combating drug trafficking. He continued to run his empire, directing drug shipments and ordering murders from his hideouts. His legend grew, solidifying his image as an almost mythical figure. He became a folk hero to some, a symbol of resistance against the government, his image emblazoned on t-shirts and celebrated in narco corridos, ballads glorifying the exploits of drug traffickers. The years on the run did little to diminish El Chapo's power or influence. His cartel continued to thrive, its tentacles reaching deeper into the fabric of society. Corruption within law enforcement and government agencies ran rampant, ensuring El Chapo's freedom and the continued success of his operations. The world watched and waited, wondering if the elusive kingpin would ever be brought to justice. The long arm of the law finally caught up with El Chapo again in 2014. He was captured in a beachfront hotel room in Mazatlan, Mexico, in a joint operation between Mexican and US authorities. His arrest was a major victory in the war on drugs, a sign that even the most powerful criminals were not beyond the reach of justice. The world held its breath, wondering if this time El Chapo would finally face the consequences of his actions. He was extradited to the Altiplano Maximum Security Prison, a facility designed to hold Mexico's most dangerous criminals. The prison, located about 50 miles outside of Mexico City, was heavily guarded, with layers of security and constant surveillance. The Mexican government, determined to avoid another embarrassing escape, spared no expense in fortifying the prison. This time they thought El Chapo would not escape. Unbeknownst to the authorities, El Chapo was already plotting his next escape. His ingenuity and determination knew no bounds. While the world believed him to be securely behind bars, El Chapo and his associates were busy working on their most audacious plan yet. A team of engineers and construction workers working on El Chapo's orders and funded by his vast wealth labored tirelessly in secret. Their mission to build a tunnel leading from El Chapo's prison cell to freedom. The tunnel, stretching over a mile, was dug with precision, equipped with lighting, ventilation, and even a motorcycle mounted on rails to facilitate a quick escape. The tunnel's entrance was ingeniously concealed beneath the floor of El Chapo's shower stall, a blind spot in the cell's surveillance system. Day after day, under the noses of the guards, earth was removed and the tunnel inched closer to completion. The audacity of the plan was breathtaking, a testament to El Chapo's unwavering belief in his ability to escape any prison. On July 11, 2015, El Chapo disappeared. He entered his shower stall, seemingly for an ordinary evening routine, and vanished. The guards, suspecting nothing, continued their rounds. Hours passed before anyone realized that the world's most notorious drug lord had escaped once again. Panic ensued as the authorities discovered the mile-long tunnel, a testament to El Chapo's meticulous planning and the rampant corruption that facilitated his escape. The escape was a national embarrassment for Mexico, highlighting the government's inability to combat corruption and the drug cartel's power and influence. El Chapo was once again a free man, a phantom thumbing his nose at the authorities from the shadows. His escape sparked a massive manhunt, but El Chapo, a master of evasion, seemed to have vanished into thin air. He remained at large for 6 months, his legend growing with each passing day. El Chapo's taste of freedom would be short-lived. In January 2016, Mexican Marines captured him after a fierce gun battle in Los Mochis, Sinaloa. His capture, aided by intelligence sharing between Mexican and US authorities, marked the end of an era. The reign of the world's most notorious drug lord was finally over. El Chapo was returned to the Altiplano prison, the scene of his previous escape. This time, however, there would be no daring escapes. The Mexican government, determined to avoid another humiliating incident, implemented unprecedented security measures. El Chapo was placed under 24/7 surveillance, his every move monitored. Facing multiple charges in the United States, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and murder, El Chapo's fate was sealed. In 2017, he was extradited to the United States to face trial. The extradition marked a turning point in the US-Mexico relationship, signaling Mexico's willingness to cooperate in the fight against drug trafficking. El Chapo's final destination was ADX Florence, a supermax prison in Colorado known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. Considered one of the most secure prisons in the world, ADX Florence houses some of the most dangerous criminals, kept in near-total isolation. El Chapo's life in solitary confinement was a far cry from his days as a powerful drug lord. In 2019, El Chapo was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years, effectively ending his reign of terror. His conviction was a major victory for the US Department of Justice and a testament to the years of work dedicated to bringing him to justice. The trial revealed the shocking brutality of El Chapo's cartel and the devastating impact of the drug trade on communities across the globe. El Chapo's story is not just about daring escapes and legal proceedings. It's a story about the devastating consequences of the drug trade, the human cost of addiction, and the corrosive effects of corruption. His cartel's activities fueled violence, destabilized regions, and claimed the lives of countless individuals, leaving a trail of blood and suffering in its wake. The violence associated with the drug trade continues to plague Mexico and other countries. El Chapo's capture and conviction, while significant, did not eradicate the problem. The Sinaloa Cartel, now under the control of El Chapo's sons and former associates, continues to operate, vying for control of lucrative drug routes and engaging in violent turf wars with rival cartels. El Chapo's story highlights the complexities of the war on drugs. It underscores the challenges of combating powerful criminal organizations, the need for international cooperation, and the importance of addressing the root causes of drug trafficking, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity. The war on drugs requires a multifaceted approach, one that goes beyond law enforcement. It demands a focus on prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation, providing individuals with viable alternatives to the drug trade. It also necessitates addressing corruption within government institutions, strengthening the rule of law, and promoting economic development in marginalized communities. The fight against drug trafficking is not just a battle for governments and law enforcement agencies. It's a shared responsibility that requires the participation of individuals, communities, and nations. We must work together to reduce demand for illicit drugs, support those struggling with addiction, and create a world where the allure of the drug trade is diminished. El Chapo's story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the dangers of complacency and the need for constant vigilance in the face of organized crime. It's a story that challenges us to confront the complexities of the drug trade and to work towards a future where violence and exploitation are not the norm. Only through collective action and a shared commitment to justice can we hope to build a world free from the grip of drug trafficking and its devastating consequences. Subscribe to our channel Outlaw Chronicles for more amazing content like this.